Hi, I'm Stephanie, here today to show you how to install your Powerline Starter Kit, or PLNAs. Your IP CapTel phone does require a network or internet connection to work properly. There are a few different ways you could connect the phone to the internet. The best and most reliable option will always be a direct Ethernet connection that runs from the router to the CapTel phone. However, we know that's not always possible. In cases where the router is near where the CapTel phone will go, perhaps in the same room, a Wi-Fi or wireless connection might be appropriate. In cases where the router is further away, like if it were in the basement, for example, and you needed the phone to go upstairs, PLNAs might be a great solution for that. So we'll go ahead and get started. I'd like to show you what's in the box and then how to get it set up. So inside the box, you've got two little white boxes. You can see outlet type prongs on them. You've got two white Ethernet cords and some instructions. Quickly, I'd like to note that both of these white boxes, I guess they are gray on the front, do have buttons on the front that say pair. It's actually important that you don't press that button. These, straight out of the box, are configured to work and connect to one another. It will actually complicate things should you press that pair button. So in short, Powerline network adapters, or PLNAs, work together to bring the network connection where you'd like to have your phone. These use your home's internal wiring to create a wired connection from the place of your modem or router to where you'd like the CapTel phone. So I will show you how to set these up next. First, we're going to plug the first one in near the router. It is important that these be plugged directly into outlets. They should not be plugged into a power strip, and also should be avoided are GFCI outlets like you might find in a kitchen, bathroom, or perhaps a laundry room area. First, we're going to go to the site of the router and get the first one plugged in. All right, so now I am upstairs by my router. This here is my router. Yours might look like this one or might look quite a bit different. So I do want to point out, I did bring up the black Ethernet cord, while this white one is the one that came in the box with the PLNAs. The Ethernet cords are interchangeable. I'm going to use the black one that actually came in the CapTel box because it's a little bit longer and it will reach better from the router to the outlet over there that is easy to see and easy for me to get to. That is important, and we'll talk more about that in a little bit. So first, we're going to plug one end of the Ethernet cord into an open spot on the back of the router. So there is an open Ethernet port right here, and I'm going to plug in the Ethernet cord. You should hear and feel a click if it goes in there properly. Next, we'll get the other end of the Ethernet cord and plug it into the bottom of the PLNA. Again, you should feel and hear a click. Next, we'll take the white adapter and put it into an outlet. Again, these should be plugged directly into a wall outlet. So I'm going to pan the camera here. You see an outlet there. So once it's plugged in, it will initially show 3 lights, and then once it's booted up, you'll see just the top and the bottom light. Once the other adapter is connected at the site where you'd like to put your CapTel phone, you'll see all 3 lights connected on both PLNAs. So now we'll go downstairs to where we'd like to put the CapTel and install the other PLNA. All right, so now we are downstairs in my home and in the location where we'd like to install the CapTel phone. So we've got the other white adapter here, and we're going to first plug in our other Ethernet cord into the bottom. and then plug in this adapter into the outlet. So again, we want to find an outlet that is easily visible and easily accessible. And lucky for me, I've got one right behind this curtain here. So now that we have both PLNAs plugged in and it's had a chance to boot up, you should see 3 lights on both this PLNA and the one upstairs. Then we'll plug in the other end of that Ethernet cord in the back of the CapTel phone. That should complete the internet connection. Next, we'll plug in the power and the phone cords, and then we'll boot up the phone. Then we'll be able to make sure that the network connection was successful. I have my phone cord plugged into the phone jack behind me, and then we'll plug in to the telephone spot here. And my power cord plugged into the outlet. And finally, we'll plug that in here. So first we'll select our language, hit next. The green check mark indicates that the phone found the telephone 9, and now it is checking for, well, it skipped right through it. It was checking for the network connection. So the green check mark here at network connection indicates that our connection was successful. You can continue to move forward with the setup of your CapTel phone, and the network connection should be good to go. And finally, I just want to share a few tips and notes to wrap up this video. So I mentioned it a couple of times, but it is important that your PLNAs be easily visible and easy to get to. It might be possible that your PLNAs may need to be reset occasionally. And to do that, all you do is unplug them both and then plug in the one at the side of the router first, and then plug in the one near the CapTel second. That is a much easier task when you know where they are and they're easy to get to. A situation where you might need to reset those is when you see a note on the CapTel that says a network error has occurred. That is a good time to try resetting the PLNAs. Next, I wanted to mention that these 2 devices that we pulled out of the box at the beginning are the same. So it doesn't matter which one you would begin with at the side of the router and which one ends up near the CapTel. They are the same, so you can use them interchangeably. The same goes for Ethernet cords. I know I ended up using a black cord upstairs near the side of my router, and I used one of the white cords downstairs because I didn't need as long a cord. It doesn't matter what size or shape Ethernet cord, what color you use, as long as it's an Ethernet cord. So these 2 are interchangeable. PLNA connection is actually a wired connection. It is not using Wi-Fi, so you don't need your Wi-Fi password. PLNAs use your home's internal wiring to create an indirect wired connection to your internet. And finally, I want to make sure I mention one more time that PLNAs should only be plugged in directly to outlets. They should not be plugged in to power strips, and GFCI outlets should be avoided as well. Those types of connections can interrupt the signal, causing them to not work properly. I hope you learned how to get your PLNA set up and this was helpful for you. Best of luck with your new CapTel.